have to write checks and I have to drive. After that, I ain't doing the rest of the stuff. Everybody can chip in and do all this. So when they got to the restaurant and they were working there, I suddenly thought, right, perhaps I could sell some chutneys, I could sell them in the restaurant. So I put them in the restaurant and they didn't work. They didn't sell, they didn't make the money that I needed them to, well, they didn't make the money. And I made a patchwork hat for them, full this material, sewn up together, cut out and into a circle, and that's where the name of the company started, Patchwork Preserves. So one day, one day what happened is I went to Ollie Pottinger, who owns the restaurant. I'm going to tell you a really silly story here. In my dyslexia, my letters are AWOL and my numbers are AWOL. And about 3 weeks ago, I dialed a wrong number for somebody, a friend of mine in Kelsall, and I hadn't seen Ollie Pottinger for 33 years. And his wife answered the phone in Kelsall, and I went, I know that accent, and she went in a very broad Scottish, she said, I know who you are. And I went, you never marry an Ollie Pottinger. And they went, yeah, and then the conversation went on. How mad is that? That's 33 years difference, and one number, and I don't know what number I put in wrong. So it doesn't, and I have done it again, so I've done it once more since then, which amuses them no end. So I do have fun with my numbers. Right, so then what happened was that Ollie said to me that, no, I went to him and I said, right, what can I do? Because these chutneys aren't working. And he said, well, go into the kitchen, talk to Jan and see if she can think of something for you to do. So she said, well, how about this? And she gave me a trough of pate. She said, can you make that? What did I say? I hit the car park and I went, yes. Oh, to her, I went, yes, of course I can. Went to the car park and went, oh shit, now what? I'd never made pate, I didn't know where you got the ingredients. I knew nothing about it. So I went home and found a recipe, which is the chicken liver Cointreau orange and chicken liver brandy and herb, which I happen to have here. We now do about 50 other varieties, but nevertheless, they're the base ones, and they still sell the best out of all the products we do. And I took to £9 from housekeeping and made this trough of pate and successfully started a business from there, which earned me £6 a week, which was fine. And I thought, like, that's all hunky-dory. It added with family allowance and a bit of window cleaning and a bit of this and a bit of that. It all added, and I was fine. And my mother was giving me £100 a week. And I had also decided, not a week, a month I mean, I had also decided that as I'd earned my living, I would not take alimony. And I said to my husband, right, I've earned my living for this amount of years, I will carry on. So I didn't take any alimony, and that's what I did. And so then I got to the stage where I really needed to earn more money. And when I made the pate, I was going really well. This extra £6 a week was just all I needed. Everything was fine. And then Ollie put his arm around me one day and he said, the auditors have been in, and well, you can't buy the pate from you anymore. So I cried and went, oh no, no. He said, listen, it's a perfect product, go and sell it in Llangollen. And I thought, no, I don't want to start a business, don't do that to me, please. And of course, there was nothing he could do. He couldn't buy the pate, the auditors had said, enough, the kitchen's got to make them now. And so I made 5 sets of samples and went to Llangollen, and I earmarked who I had to sell to. And I came home with 5 sets of samples, going, I can't get a car, they're going to reject me, and I can't. And I squirmed and I squirmed and I squirmed. Put them back in the fridge and went the second time on the second day, went up the second time on the second day. And did exactly the same bloody thing, went round all 5 outlets and went, oh shit, and came home with the same bloody samples, put them back in the fridge. On the third day, I turned to Jenny and I said to Jen, be an angel and come with me, a friend of mine. And I said, will you come with me and make sure I get out the damn car? That's it. So bless her, she came and chucked me out the car 5 times. Then I got home and I really cried, because then I thought, I got to make these phone calls. And when I make these phone calls, they're going to go, so-and-so can't come to the phone because they're on the loo, because they're ill. Or they're puking or this or that. And I thought, oh God. Or they'd go, it smells like this, looks like that, it looks like dog shit, and it smells like you're joking. Because 34 years ago, or whatever years ago it was, nobody had heard of pate. I mean, nobody was travelling then and all the rest of it. It was a very foreign thing. So anyhow, I did my 5 phone calls, which I had to do, and guess what? All of them ordered, which freaked me out even more, because then I didn't know how the hell to get that volume of product to make chicken livers rather, to make that. And the people like the Eisteddfod, the Jenny Jones, which is on the Eisteddfod grounds, were one of them, and they wanted bloody great bowls, salad bowls of the stuff. So anyhow, as everything, made it happen and started a business. And one of the things I always say, which was taught to me way back in those years, is, and I can't say the word, concentrical. I've done it, concentrical. Is that right? You start from one point, you go out in a circle. So if you're selling anything, doing anything, and certainly with the relevance of petrol today, you start from here, because one of the things that people that make stuff, they go, oh, it'll be fine when I sell it in New York, or it'll be fine when I sell it in, you know, Manchester, and I'm here, or wherever. Now you start from here, and you just work out and work out and work out. Less petrol today is how that one works. So anyhow, so I started this business, and it grew, and I grew, and I got myself to Chester, which was a big deal. Owen Owens in Chester, some of you may remember. And a quick lovely story there was when I went, when you're selling, you earmark who you're selling to. We were talking earlier about the apprentice, you know, which the apprentice bloody guys don't know and do their homework before they go in and know all about Alan Sugar and all the rest of it. It's simple etiquette of entering for interview or for sale. So I knew all about Owen Owens, and I knew about the buyer, and I knew his name, and I knew, and I earmarked him, but I earmarked him and then walked away and sat outside in a precinct in Chester, frightened to go in. Finally I had to do it, and I got there, and the guy was on the floor on his hands and knees sorting a shelf out, the main buyer. And I went at him, and I threw out words of 300 miles an hour, and he looked up at me and said, I don't know what you're selling, but whatever it is, I'll have it. And then what you don't do in sales is you don't go back in again. No, let me explain it to you. It's like, no, lady, you don't do that. So anyhow, he said, well, how do I sell this bloody stuff? And I said, get a toaster, make the smell of toast, and that will get people interested. So then I had to go home, obviously, and I was nervous as hell about how to make the phone call, because I thought, nobody's going to buy that, it's going to cost too much. And I thought, I'll send a friend in and get them just to buy a bit. So just one little bit will go, and it won't look so bad from the foil container. We still do them in foil containers, however, 30 odd years later. And I thought, you silly cow, you haven't got the money. The reason you're doing this is because you've got no bloody money. So anyhow, I rang him up, as one has to find out how the sale had gone, or the sales had gone. And he said, well, and I thought, oh, no. He said, you told me to get the toast. He said, well, I went downstairs, got a toast. He said, by the time I came up, we'd sold out. So that was the start of a lovely, my circle thing, going out and getting more business. And now we've had a pallet recently go to Malaysia. We've got co-packers in New York. The product is still made. It's still made in the same way. That Quantum Orange is made the way we made it 30 odd years ago, and the Brandon Home. Everything is still made in larger volumes now, but still hand stirred and real ingredients, and no additives or preservatives. And one of the things is that we say is that the reason we don't add any additives or preservatives is we don't know what they bloody well are. And we wouldn't know where to buy them, we wouldn't know how to add them, we wouldn't know what to do with them. So everything in our products is as you would be able, or we say Mrs. Jones would buy in her local shop. So it's all fresh, local, or as local as possible, but real ingredients, which is nice. And things to show off about that I'm really, really proud of. Jenny, who hates selling, is product development and IT and financial and technical. She's everything. She'll mend the boiler and do anything, but actually upfront selling is not her thing. But somehow she landed the deal of going on her own, on a train, on a tube, with great big boxes to BA 3 years ago, and has had us in a contract now successfully for 3 years with BA First Class and Business Class. Wow. So that is awesome. And I'm going to chuck in here my children, because I'm very proud of where they've got to. My daughter, my youngest son, as I said, I'm working upwards from the bottom now. My youngest son is MD and has been for, I don't know, 20 odd years at Patchwork now. And I've retired 3 or 4 times, and I still, whatever. And then my daughter took herself, her own initiative, to go into the film world. Neither her school in careers knew what the hell she was doing and wanted to do, and none of us understood, but we just supported her in trying to understand what she does. But she's been a film producer, and she owns a company now with Stephen Fry, and has done for I think about 7 years, called Sprout Productions. And you'll see them, you know the series at the moment on Sky with the 12 Playhouse. Anybody seen Playhouse? Yeah. Well, if you look through that, you'll see that the producers are Gina Carter, Stephen Fry, and Sandy Toksvig. Yes? And so she's done really well, and is doing really well. And then the other one is my eldest son, Marcus, and he owns a company making food with artisan producers, and has started one of, I think he was the first in the world doing a virtual farmers market. So he's still developing that, but he's boy done good. So he's doing well. So I'm very proud. They're really good friends together, and they're really helpful to each other, which is nice. So where does that leave me now? Questions, you are going to have to do some questions, because that's the best bit for me. It's the only reason I come is for the questions, because I know my story. Is that lady all right?
She's fine.
Oh, she's
I've got to get the school run.
Oh, you've got to go.
I've got to go my school run, sorry.
Ask me a question. You can't go.
Can I interview for Lifestyle Magazine?
Of course you can.
Really great story.
Yes, yes, of course you can.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry.
No, so that's not the question, by the way.
Oh, I just found you really inspirational, and I totally agree with you. You get off your ass and do it.
Yes.
You know, you just can't rely on anyone to help you.
No.
So I just think that's really inspiring.
Good. Can I also add to that? You can go. I'm just going to add. No. Okay. You know, I know about school runs. So yes. No. To just say about get off your ass and do stuff. It's also a question of following through. One of the things, even in my own business today, is if you make a phone call and you want to get yourselves somewhere, either in your business or a product or an answer, you have to follow up, because you cannot rely, even if the other person is going to make money, they will not phone back. You have to do all the following up all the time. Not nagging and not up their asses so that you drive them crackers and yourself crackers, but you keep on going. You keep on, because you're the only one that actually can make something happen. Which is sad, because you'd think, wouldn't you? At work I hear it, my son goes ballistic. I phone them, they haven't phoned me back. No, they don't phone back. People, even if they're going to make a fortune, they don't phone back. Are you trying to wind me up? Are you winding me up?
Yes, if you don't mind.
Bye-bye.
Margaret's got some samples, haven't you? So feel free to go
Yes.
over to the table and try a couple of those things.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.